All right. Welcome to the Catalyst Way, where we have conversations around unleashing the power of purpose and meaning to fuel transformative change in yourself and for others. Welcome to episode 11. And in this episode, we're going to actually start off with a video. And the video, if you ever have seen Young Sheldon or The Big Bang Theory, this is where this particular episode came from. And Ivor and I thought that this would be a really good episode to have a conversation around. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to watch this video. It's about 5.5 minutes long. And then we're going to have this really interesting conversation around it. And interestingly enough, where is it? Ah, here it is. All right. So, so here's the video. And you can see young Sheldon, Georgie flat tire genius to tire business owner. So that's the title. So can you see this, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's the video.
George, how y'all been? Good, good. Hey, fix the place up, looking snazzy. Oh, thanks. He's got new water cooler. It's got those pointy cups, look like Madonna's bra. So, what's going on with the truck other than the fact it's got 130,000 miles on it? She's been running hot. I'm worried I need a new radiator. As your friend and neighbor, I hope not, but as a businessman, that'd be pretty sweet.
It could just be the thermostat not opening right.
That is correct. How'd you know that?
I took auto repair last year.
And you actually paid attention?
I'm as surprised as you are.
All right, good news. Tell me. Well, the kid was right. It's just the thermostat. Yeah. So how long to fix it? Nothing, 20 minutes.
Can I help?
Sure, grab yourself a pair of coveralls and have at it.
Thanks.
Really? I'm paying you so my old son can fix my truck? Well, we could have my son do it, but we know how that's going to end. Hey, you up for some company? Sure, come on in. Sorry about the light beer, but Brenda's got me on this health kick. You are melting away. Shut up. So listen, I feel bad about Georgie and this whole football thing. Thanks, it's not on you. I appreciate that, but you got to know there's an upside to this. And that would be? Your son has got a special gift. Gift? We are talking about Georgie, right? Yeah. I mean, first off, the kid really knows his way around an engine, which is all well and good. But when it comes to fixing tires, I swear, I've never seen anything like it. Tires? How do you mean? George, I've been patching flats for 25 years. You know, slap some soapy water on them, look for the air bubble. But yours, he doesn't need any tricks. He knows where the puncture holes are. Knows? He knows. He's got a sixth sense for tire damage. I mean, you got to see him in action. It'll give you chills. Not to say it. Whenever we had a leaky football, he knew exactly where the hole was. I am telling you, your boy's got a future in the tire business. Goodyear, Firestone, somebody's going to scoop him up first round. Thanks, sir. That does my heart good. So I guess you got two geniuses in the family. Yes, I do. Knows, maybe Missy will make it three. Or it's two. I got goosebumps.
So wait, your brother is Dr. Tire?
Yes, and apparently it only takes half a semester of community college to get that particular doctorate.
We passed 3 of these stores on the way here. Why did you say he's just some loser who sells tires?
You're right, that was unfair. He's a loser who sells more tires than anyone in Texas.
Oh, excuse me. We're looking for a Georgie Cooper.
1 second, I'll check to see if the doctor's in.
He is not a doctor. Only one doctor here, and it's me.
I'm also a doctor.
You want to wait in the car?
I wanted to wait in California. So, is this Georgie?
Yes. And what is he even using that stethoscope to listen to?
I don't know. Small leak?
All right, that makes sense. What the hell are you doing here? Hello, Georgie. It's just George now. Fine, George. No, I don't like it. Georgie? See, you haven't changed one bit. Thank you. That is a nice thing to say.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Listen, I hear you. I know they're pricey, but these are the Dallas Cowboys of tires, okay? And we're talking the Troy Aikman Cowboys, not that pretty boy, Tony Romo. All right, good call. You won't regret it.
Oh, that was impressive.
Yeah, well, it's easy when you love your product and hate Tony Romo. I had nothing to apologize for. I told you this is a bad idea. Sometimes you can't patch a tire, you just gotta buy a new one. Actually, that's always the case. Never patch, buy new. While I appreciate your folksy tire with...
So, all right. So let's stop that. All right. So let's have at it. The video is a video I'm going to share when we're talking about gifts, which is different than talents and skills. So before we started this call, I decided I'm going to look up what's the difference between talent, skill, and gift. And basically, a talent is something that's innate, something that you do well. A skill is something you develop. And I would argue a gift is something that's innate, but you use it in service to something else, something bigger than you. So that's how I would describe the three. Now, I'll let you share your thoughts around the video to start, and then we'll just expand the conversation.
So just to dive right in, like we were discussing earlier, why is this even important for us to have a conversation around in the first place? Why do gifts matter? Identifying your gifts matter. And why in our culture today are we not helping others recognize what their gifts are? I think not doing that is a huge problem. Why aren't we addressing it? Why do we not care that people find out what their gifts are?
Well, and you think of education, like in high school. When do we help people? Like, not everyone in high school goes to college. I wonder if some of the people who go to high school figure out what their gift is and then pursue it in that direction. So let's say something, you have a gift around cars, fixing cars. Why go to college if that's your gift, unless a college has specifically what you want to do, which most don't. So you think about, and I'm using the story with Georgie because here's a kid whose gift is tires. Like he can, as you noticed, he can spot the place in a tire where there's a leak. And we do a poor job in education of helping people find their gifts. Actually, we probably do it as a society. So how do we help? So why is this a problem? Like, is this something that we should be concerned? Is it even something we should be concerned with?
I definitely think it's something we should be concerned with. I just don't think we care. And that's the problem, right? If you're in school, isn't the premise to get you to focus on talent or skill acquisition more so than your gift or talent? Like, who cares about your gift? Don't I just need you to be a better student so I can move you on?
Well, you're a coach. Think about this from a sports perspective. You work with lots of talented people or student kids. You work with lots of talented kids, and you're helping them build the skill. My question is, who are the ones that tend to be most successful?
The ones that tend to be the most successful are definitely the ones who, yes, you can tell that there is a talent there for that particular sport, or even them approaching it from more of an athletic background. It's more innate. They don't have to work as hard at it, so they come from a better foundation versus the kids who don't have that. And now it really does take a lot of work for them to acquire the skill, which could go either way. Yes, I'm going to work at it versus this is not for me. I'm just going to drop out.
So, you think about, and I'm going to use the sports analogy because we both love sports. You think about like the people at the top of the sports field. And you could look at any sport, you think of the Michael Jordans. So he had the talent, he developed the skill, but he took it to another level. And he took the talent of basketball, developed the skill, and turned it into a gift because he found a way, and I might be stretching this here, but he found a way to help others be better themselves.
I wouldn't say that's too much of a stretch. I definitely think it's going to where you use it to help others is certainly where the gifting gets more emphasis because now it has more of a spiritual connotation, which you and I have also discussed before, right? When you talk about gifting, especially in the church setting, it now has to do with where you go from a spiritual standpoint. But I would argue that sometimes it rules some people out because there's also a case to be made for non-spiritual gifts. And those can also be used in just as an effective way.
So, how would you define a gift?
I would say it's something that's innate. You're born with it, right? It's nothing that you have to work on. It's 100% natural. You do it without even thinking about it.
Now, what's the difference between that and a talent?
I would say the talent is something that you are going to maybe use for yourself versus the gift being something that you're going to use for others.
Right. And that's the distinction is you can build a talent and be the best in what you do. You use your talent to deliver a gift, which is in service to others. And that's the difference. And we aren't helping people take their talent and use it in service to others. So this whole conversation that we've had today has literally got me thinking, how do we help people find and refine their gifts? Because you can walk in a setting, like you walk in a church setting, I walk in a classroom, and I'm sitting there thinking, how many people can really think about what their gifts are? Or how many people know what their truly their gifts are? Um, and I don't know if we have the answer, but I would ask you, I mean, you're talented in lots of things. What would you say is your true gift?
I would say what comes easy without me having to even think about it would definitely be the coaching or the teaching aspect. I will go there without giving it a second thought, especially if it comes to basing it around any type of spiritual or biblical principle.
And see, I would even, and we talked about it, I think your gift is how you can apply a biblical principle to anything. That's your gift. I would
Right.
argue that's your gift because almost every conversation we've had, you've been able to say, "Oh, well, we're going to do values. Well, there's a scripture in the Bible about values. Oh, there's a scripture in the value about meaning, meaningful work. There's a scripture in like, I mean, you've always been able to do that and not even think about it. It just comes so natural for you.
So, what would you say your gifting is?
So my gift, and I think it's evolved over time, but I've always been able to, like, ever since I started working with people, I've always been able to take something and create something better from it. So I could read something and create a tool, or I could take a group and put together this motley group of people and we create this team that achieves success. Or we can go on a bike ride. Like, I used to do MS rides and I had people who have never, ridden over 50 miles and we could do 75 over 2 days, each day. So I've always been able to take something and help people do more or achieve more than they ever thought possible. Right now, I could read. I read and watch videos, and I can take that information and then create something magical. So, for example, think about the personal identity slash aspirational identity activity. You're reading a book, Fearless Living, Jamie Winship, and you're like, you got to read this chapter. And I'm reading this chapter, and and he comes up with this two-word statement, which is personal identity. And I'm like, I wonder if there's a way we could come up with a way for people to identify their personal identity. And the following week, I'm like, Ivor, I got to show you this.
Right.
And I had a tool. And then I'm like, well, I'm reading other things, and it's like, well, you can take that and come up with a personal identity, but what if you turn it into an aspirational identity? So thinking about who you want to be and what do you want to do, which is the gist of this Catalyst Way work that we're doing. What if we created something like that and you could literally come up with this thing of who you want to be and what I want to do in the future from 2 words? And I'm like, yeah, I like that. But I have this innate ability to be able to create this thing and then share it with others. Because that's the thing. We are able to share it with others. So just like with you, you've taken the tools, but why do churches ask you to come? Because you've been able to take a tool and attach a Bible verse and a Bible story to it.
So, how do we get that innate ability expressed in everyone? Because I believe everyone's born with a gift, some more than one, but we all have a gift that we came here with. How do we now make that challenge as broad as possible to help stress the importance of making sure this is achieved? Why do we think it's okay to continue to graduate thousands of students all across the board who have no idea what their gifts are?
So the question is, how can we help people do that? And I would argue there's two ways. And one way, I would argue most people don't want to do because it's asking lots of questions. So, if we ask someone, what makes your heart sing? What are you passionate about? What drives, when you have free time, what do you spend your time doing? You ask those kind of penetrating questions to kind of get people thinking about it. And then the other thing to do is to attach it with and I'm going to use the word tool, activity, that has them identify different ways or different things that they do that could be construed as gifts. So my thinking is I have tools, and I'm thinking, what if we turn the tools not in terms of activities you do, but it's helping you identify the gifts that make you come alive. So that's what I'll be working on and hopefully posting in this document because we all, like you said, we all have gifts. And give me an example of a Bible scripture that talks about gifts.
Well, there's, the one that always comes to mind for me, the most prominent is Proverbs, right? Where Solomon talks about your gifts make room for you and place you in front of kings, or one version says in front of important people, right? And that's why you need to know what your gifts are. It's because they make room for you, right? What do your gifts do? They help you find your place in the world. But isn't that what we're trying to do with church members? Isn't that what we're trying to do with students, right? It's all about me trying to help you find your place in the world. My concern is we've got a neat little box that we want you to fit in. And if you can fit into this box, then I think the job has been done with finding your place in the world, which I think is nonsense. So you go to school and here's a list of all of these different categories and all of these different majors. Well, just pick one of them because here's our list and we need you to abide by this. You walk into church and you may get what's called a spiritual gift test, if your church even does that. But again, it's you confined to a box that says, yes, here are the areas in which you can serve, and just check off all the boxes and find your way into one of those positions. And if we do that, then we think we have served them well. And I'm saying maybe not, because it's not what I think makes room for you. It's your gifts that make room for you. And I don't think any person can shine truly without being able to operate in their gifts. So I should want you to know what that is as soon as possible, which in the case of Georgie happened at a very young age. Can I get you there versus you being in your 40s and 50s, sitting down every Sunday, and you still don't know what your gifts are?
So that's interesting. So then my next question, and I don't know whether it's can you or should you, but my thought along the lines of can you or should you get paid for your gift?
Can you? Yes. Should you? I think there's a case to be made there.
And I would say maybe. I think it depends on where you are in your life. So it's kind of like the Ikigai model, where what are you good at? What do you like to do? What are you good at? What the world needs and what the reward is, because different stages will have us want a different reward. So sometimes it might be pay, sometimes it might be an intrinsic reward. But it would be nice if you could, and getting paid for your gift is different than getting paid for your hobby.
Yes.
Because most people will say, is your hobby your gift? Your hobby is probably something you like to do and you find enjoyment in it, but it may not be your gift. And I think there's a distinction between hobby and gift. Because some people will say, well, my hobby's my gift. And I would argue, I wonder if your hobby is truly your gift.
I would also point out that there's a correlation between the gifting and value also, right? Because someone who's walking in their gifts tends to be a person of value, right? You look at what George ended up doing. That will almost happen by default. And I do believe that the money happens not because you're chasing the money, but because you have allowed your gifts to make you a person of value, because people will pay for value.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing, so would you say that you and I are actually getting compensated for using our gifts?
Yes.
And now our hope is that we can help other people find their gift or
Absolutely. Because
gifts.
everyone should walk in them.
Right. Everybody should be walking in their gift. That's exactly
Yes.
right. So always interesting. Like this has been an interesting conversation. And one of the things I did right before we got on this call is, what's the difference between a talent, a skill, and a gift? And, you can have a talent and you develop your talent to make it a skill. But talent and gift are both innate. It's how do you use your talent and how do you use your gift? That's the distinction. And to me, talent is very self-oriented and gift is very other-oriented. That's how I would make the distinction. I don't know about you, but
I agree with that.
so um, so hopefully even by the time this gets recorded, we'll have a tool. If not, just be on the lookout. But there will be a tool or activity to help you identify your gifts. Because this is something that's very, very important to us. And we're going to make it happen and make it easier. And hopefully everyone gets an opportunity to not only identify their gift, but then live their gift. So, all right. So, any final thoughts before we call it a day?
That it is really important that we help the masses understand why this is critical to them living a successful life. I don't think you can do it any other way. You need to know what your gifts are because you came here with them, and you came here with them so that you could live them out, not wander around aimlessly.
So, and we're going to help with that process.
Yes, we are.
Cool. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, be on the lookout. We'll be having a tool activity on helping you find your gifts. So have a great day.
Bye for now.
Bye.